Rodeo is one of the toughest sports in the world, but it comes with real dangers. Behind the excitement and competition, some accidents changed lives forever. In this video, we'll look at 5 of the worst rodeo accidents of all time. Real stories of riders facing tragic outcomes. It was March 14, 1998, in Fort Worth, Texas. The Tough Hedeman Championship Challenge was one of the top events in the Professional Bull Riders or PBR series. Among the competitors was 25-year-old Jerome Davis from Archdale, North Carolina. Known for his skills and resilience, Davis was leading the PBR world standings and set for a standout season. Jerome had been riding bulls since childhood, turning his passion into a celebrated career. In 1995, he achieved his dream by becoming the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, PRCA, world champion in bull riding. Over the years, he solidified his reputation as a top rider, qualifying for the PBR World Finals 4 times. But on that day in Fort Worth, an ordinary ride turned into a life-changing event. During the first round, Jerome was paired with a bull named Knock 'em Out John. The bull was known for its strength and aggression, but Jerome had faced such challenges before. When the gate opened, the bull leaped forward, and just 5 seconds into the ride, disaster struck. Jerome was thrown off balance as the bull bucked. His jaw collided with the bull's head, knocking him unconscious. When he hit the ground, he landed head first, causing a severe neck injury. The impact displaced a vertebra at the base of his neck, leaving him paralyzed from the chest down. The crowd watched in silence as medical teams rushed to Jerome's side. He was quickly taken to John Peter Smith Hospital, where doctors confirmed the devastating injury. At just 25, Jerome's promising bull riding career was over. Jerome's father, Carson Davis, expressed the shock of the incident, emphasizing how unprepared one can be for such life-altering events. Despite the devastating news, Jerome maintained his composure, relying on the support of his family. His aunt, Felicia Majors, remained confident in his resilience, firmly believing that regardless of the doctor's prognosis, he would recover. As Jerome recovered in the hospital, the PBR community rallied around him, offering their support and encouragement. Though he would never ride again, Jerome's love for the sport remained unchanged. The accident had a lasting impact on the bull riding community, becoming a reminder of the risks riders face. While safety measures like helmets and chest protectors had improved over the years, the dangers of the sport were still very real. Jerome's story, however, is not just about the accident, but also about the determination that followed. Despite his paralysis, he found a new purpose. Together with his wife, Tiffany, he started raising bucking bulls on their ranch in Archdale, North Carolina. He also stayed connected to the sport by mentoring young riders and becoming a coach for the Carolina Cowboys in the PBR Team Series. Jerome's recovery was a testament to his inner strength. While he could no longer compete, he dedicated himself to helping the next generation of bull riders. His guidance proved invaluable, leading the Carolina Cowboys to success in 2022. In addition to coaching, Jerome organized the annual Jerome Davis Invitational, a PBR-sanctioned event held at his ranch. The event celebrated the best in bull riding and highlighted Jerome's ongoing contributions to the sport. Despite the tragic end to his riding career, Jerome Davis built a legacy of resilience and inspiration. His achievements, from his 1990 North Carolina State High School Bull Riding Championship to his 1995 PRCA World Championship, remain legendary. He also founded the Southern Extreme Bull Riding Association, giving aspiring riders a platform to launch their careers. Jerome's story leaves many unanswered what-if questions about his career, but his impact on the sport is undeniable. Even though he no longer rides, his passion for bull riding and his determination to keep contributing define the true spirit of a champion. Through his work, Jerome Davis continues to inspire others to overcome challenges and pursue their dreams. His journey is one of strength, hope, and the unbreakable will to keep moving forward. It was the summer of 1998 in Boise, Idaho. The Professional Bull Riders or PBR event was in full swing, drawing a massive crowd to the arena. Among the competitors was 19-year-old Chris Shivers, a rising star in bull riding. Although he had been a professional for just a year, his reputation was already making waves. That evening, he was set to face one of the toughest bulls in the competition, Shorty, a Mexican fighting bull notorious for its aggressive behavior. Shivers had dedicated countless hours to honing his skills, preparing for moments like these. As the crowd cheered, he climbed into the chute, locking eyes with Shorty. The tension in the arena was palpable. Shivers knew the challenge ahead, but he was ready, his adrenaline fueling his focus. When the gate opened, Shivers started strong. For the first few seconds, he maintained control, skillfully balancing on the bucking bull. The crowd roared, captivated by his performance. But in an instant, everything changed. Shorty made a sudden, powerful buck, throwing Shivers to the ground with force. He landed hard, lying motionless in the dirt. The arena went silent as onlookers realized something was wrong. Shivers was unconscious. Meanwhile, Shorty, still agitated, turned its attention to the vulnerable rider. In a terrifying moment, Shorty charged at Shivers, ramming him with its horns. Bullfighters, whose job is to protect riders, rushed in to draw the bull's attention. Despite their efforts, Shorty returned, striking Shivers again. The crowd watched in horror as the scene unfolded. Eventually, the bullfighters and security team managed to divert Shorty and lead it away. Shivers was quickly moved to safety, and paramedics arrived to assess his condition. To everyone's relief, Shivers raised his arms as he was carried off, signaling that he was alive and aware. Though Shivers had sustained significant injuries, none were life-threatening. The young cowboy's resilience shone through, and after weeks of recovery, he was back on his feet. This near-death experience didn't mark the end of his career. Instead, it became a pivotal moment in his journey. Shivers returned to the sport stronger than ever, eventually becoming one of the most successful bull riders in PBR history. He won the PBR World Championship twice, in 2000 and 2003, and earned over $3 million in prize money before retiring in 2012. Despite the dangers of bull riding, Shivers never lost his determination to excel. Reflecting on that day in Boise, it's impossible not to consider how close he came to a different outcome. The risks of bull riding are always present, but Shivers' survival and triumph show his courage and perseverance. Chris Shivers went on to etch his name into bull riding history, but the events of that day remain a defining chapter in his career. It was a moment that showcased the unpredictable and often dangerous nature of the sport while securing Shivers' legacy as one of the greatest bull riders of all time. It was March 24, 2013 in Mojave, Arizona. Bo Schroeder, a professional rodeo cowboy from China, Texas, was preparing for the Extreme Bulls competition. Bo had been riding bulls professionally since 2008, following in the footsteps of his father and grandfather, both deeply involved in rodeo. That day, he faced 800 night moves, a bull known for its unpredictable nature. Bo, with years of experience and a love for the adrenaline of the sport, was ready for the challenge. However, things took a devastating turn. During the ride, the bull threw Bo to the ground with immense force. The animal's hooves landed on his chest, causing severe injuries. Bo's trachea was torn, and both lungs collapsed, leaving him unable to breathe on his own. He lost consciousness as fellow competitors and staff rushed to his aid. Artie Meyer, a fellow cowboy, feared the worst as Bo was taken away in an ambulance. Bo was airlifted to the University Medical Center in Las Vegas for emergency surgery. Doctors worked to repair his trachea and address his collapsed lungs. He remained in intensive care for weeks, unable to speak or breathe without medical support. His recovery was uncertain, and the injuries threatened not only his life but also his career. For rodeo athletes like Bo, injuries often come with financial strain. Unlike other professional sports, rodeo competitors don't have guaranteed salaries and earn only when they compete. While Bo focused on healing, he couldn't work, and bills began to pile up. This is where the Justin Cowboy Crisis Fund, or JCCF, became crucial. Established in 1989, the JCCF helps injured rodeo athletes cover expenses during recovery. Bo had relied on the fund before, after breaking his leg earlier in his career. Once again, it provided the support he desperately needed. Despite the severity of his injuries, Bo's determination remained unshaken. He later learned how close he had been to losing his life, which deepened his appreciation for the support he received. Throughout his recovery, he stayed in touch with family and friends through text messages, expressing gratitude for their encouragement. The road back to health was long and difficult, but Bo was focused on returning to the sport he loved. By June 26th, just 3 months after the accident, Bo made a remarkable comeback. At the Pecos Rodeo in Texas, he scored an 89-point ride on his first attempt. This triumphant return earned him over $3,000 and signaled the beginning of his recovery, both physically and financially. Fellow competitors and fans celebrated his resilience and determination. Throughout his career, Bo faced numerous challenges, including broken ribs, a torn trachea, collapsed lungs and multiple leg injuries. Yet his passion for bull riding never wavered. He often described the sport as man versus beast and thrived on the thrill of the challenge. His respect for the animals was evident, but his focus was always on performing to the best of his ability. Rodeo was more than a sport for Bo. It was a family tradition. His father, Punky Schroeder, was a former bull rider, and his grandfather, Icky Schroeder, had produced rodeos and raised bulls. His sister, Nikki Duke, had also competed in youth rodeos. This deep connection to rodeo shaped Bo's life and fueled his dedication to the sport. Bo's life as a rodeo athlete meant constant travel and competing in several events each year. The long hours and physical toll were challenging, but Bo embraced the lifestyle. Even after his injuries, he remained committed to the sport, supported by his family, friends, and the rodeo community. The accident on March 24th could have ended Bo's career, but his determination and the support he received helped him recover. The JCCF played a vital role in easing his financial burden, allowing him to focus on healing. Bo's story is one of perseverance and love for the sport, proving that even in the face of immense challenges, a strong spirit can overcome the odds. Today, Bo continues to compete, showing that his passion for bull riding and his resilience remain unbroken. His journey shows the courage and dedication of rodeo athletes who take on one of the world's most dangerous sports. It was January 10, 2016, at the Professional Bull Riders or PBR Chicago Invitational held in the Allstate Arena, Rosemont, Illinois. Bonner Bolton, a 28-year-old professional bull rider, was among the event's top competitors. Known for his skill and fearlessness, Bolton had achieved significant milestones in his career, including a fourth-place finish at the PBR World Finals a few months earlier. Confident and ready for the season, he had already completed 2 successful rides that day, one earning him an impressive score of 86.75 on a bull named Cowboy Up. The crowd was energized, and it seemed like another great performance was within reach. But then, disaster struck. During a routine dismount from Cowboy Up, Bolton miscalculated his jump. Instead of landing on his feet, his body twisted unnaturally, and he hit the ground head first. The impact was severe. Bolton remained conscious but was unable to move. He later described the moment, saying he could see his hands but couldn't feel them. Panic set in as he realized something was seriously wrong. Bullfighters quickly intervened, distracting the bull and shielding Bolton from further harm. Paralyzed and motionless, he was rushed to Advocate Lutheran General Hospital in Park Ridge, Illinois. A chaplain accompanied him in the ambulance, a clear sign of the gravity of his condition. At the hospital, doctors diagnosed him with a fractured C2 vertebra, a critical part of the spine that supports the head. While the injury was severe, his spinal cord was intact, giving him a chance for recovery. The first 24 hours were tense. Bolton lay immobile, fearing he might never walk again. Then, unexpectedly, he began to regain sensation. Feeling returned to his limbs, and he was able to move his fingers. Doctors were amazed by his progress. A few days later, he underwent a 6-hour surgery to fuse his C2 and C3 vertebrae, stabilizing his spine with a metal frame. While the procedure was successful, recovery would be long and uncertain. Bolton spent months in a neck brace and underwent intense rehabilitation. He worked tirelessly through therapies like cryotherapy and yoga to rebuild his strength. Despite his determination, doctors ultimately advised him against returning to bull riding. The metal in his neck made any further injury too dangerous, with risks that could be life-threatening or result in permanent paralysis. This news was devastating. Bull riding was Bolton's life, a passion he had pursued since childhood, inspired by his father, a rodeo cowboy. Faced with this life-altering reality, Bolton sought a new path. Just months before his accident, he had been approached by International Management Group, or IMG, a global agency interested in his unique look. In May 2016, he signed a modeling contract. Initially, an unexpected transition, Bolton embraced his new career wholeheartedly. He landed major campaigns, including one with Saks Fifth Avenue and another for BR4SS underwear. His work with Boot Barn and other brands further established him in the fashion world. Bolton also explored opportunities outside modeling. In 2017, he joined the 24th season of Dancing with the Stars, partnering with Sharna Burgess. Although he was eliminated in the 5th week, the experience introduced him to a broader audience and solidified his status as a public figure. Bolton's journey served as an inspiration to many. After an accident that nearly ended his life and career, he managed to rebuild and thrive. He viewed his recovery as a sign that his purpose was not yet fulfilled, determined to accomplish more. His story of perseverance resonated with fans, showcasing his resilience and the unwavering support he received from his family and the rodeo community. While Bolton's recovery was remarkable, it raises questions about how he might have coped if the outcome had been different. Would he have found a new purpose without regaining his physical abilities? Thankfully, Bolton's resilience, coupled with a bit of fortune, allowed him to turn a life-altering event into a new chapter filled with opportunity and growth. It was April 1st, 2016, in Fargo, North Dakota. Brady Jandro, a 20-year-old cowboy from the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota, was competing in a professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, or PRCA event. Brady had grown up riding horses and started competing in rodeos as soon as he was old enough. Rodeo was not just a sport for him, it was his identity. Though he knew the risks, he loved the thrill of it. That day, Brady was thrown from a bronco during a ride, something that had happened to him many times before, but this time his foot got caught in the stirrup, leaving him trapped under the horse. As the bronco bucked violently, one of its hooves struck Brady in the head. Amazingly, Brady stayed conscious through it all. He remembered the chaos, the horse's movements, and even trying to communicate with paramedics who rushed to help him. He insisted his injury was to his head, not his neck, though the responders were initially unsure. The impact had crushed his skull in 3 places, causing severe internal bleeding in his brain. A small cut on his head gave little indication of the damage inside. Paramedics stabilized him and rushed him to Sanford Medical Center in Fargo, but his condition was critical. Shortly after arriving at the hospital, Brady had a seizure. Doctors placed him in an induced coma to prepare for surgery. His outlook was uncertain. If he survived, there was a risk of permanent brain damage. During surgery, a metal plate was inserted into his skull to repair the damage. 5 days later, Brady woke up, but the news was devastating. His rodeo career was over. Doctors warned him that another head injury could be fatal. For someone who had spent his whole life in the rodeo, the thought of never competing again was heartbreaking. Despite the severity of his injuries, Brady was eager to leave the hospital. However, his recovery was far from complete. He had trouble seeing out of one eye, his balance was off, and he had issues with his speech and hearing. He also had to take seizure medication. Yet Brady refused to give up. Doctors advised him to avoid heavy physical activity and take it easy for 6 months. For someone like Brady, who was used to an active lifestyle, these restrictions were a challenge, but he was determined to keep going. Years before his injury, Brady had met filmmaker Chloe Zhao at an Angus bull sale on the Pine Ridge Reservation. At the time, she was working on her first movie and noticed Brady's unique personality. After his accident, she thought he was perfect for a role in her next film, The Rider. The film's story mirrored Brady's life, a young bronco rider recovering from a serious head injury. Brady played a version of himself, bringing authenticity to the role. The movie received critical acclaim and won awards at major film festivals, including Cannes. It showcased not only Brady's physical recovery, but also his emotional struggle to adjust to life after his accident. Balancing his recovery and acting was tough. Brady still experienced headaches and other challenges from his injuries, but working with horses, something he loved deeply, became a form of therapy. 6 weeks after leaving the hospital, Brady got back on a horse, a moment that was both healing and empowering. Horses had been part of his life since childhood, and being with them helped him find strength during his recovery. Though Brady could no longer compete in rodeos, he found a new purpose. He began training wild horses, including those rescued from difficult situations. His work gave these animals a second chance, and in return, they helped him heal emotionally. Brady's journey also led him to unexpected opportunities. The success of The Rider took him to film festivals around the world, opening doors to new possibilities. While he embraced his role in filmmaking, he never lost his passion for horses. He continued to train and raise them, finding joy in his new path. Despite the challenges, Brady remains connected to the rodeo world. While the risk of injury keeps him from competing, he still dreams of riding bulls again someday, though he plans to take extra precautions. Brady's story is one of resilience and adaptability. A life-changing accident ended his rodeo career but opened doors to new opportunities in film and horse training. Today, he continues to work with horses and share his story, proving that even in the face of overwhelming odds, it's possible to rebuild and find purpose.